Good morning. Welcome to 1111. We are so glad that all of you are here with us to start this hopefully wonderful new year of 2025. We'll all cross our fingers. We're welcome to those of you who are online also. My name is Elena Gunter. I'm standing in for Brad Thompson today and next week as he is off gallivanting the world on vacation, so we wish him safe travels. I have a question from Tom. It's a long one today, so I'm going to read it. What does epiphany mean to you, and what is keeping you from seeing it? All right, and we're going to start off with a song. So thankful for this feeling and music. Oh, and music brings.
Did that wake everybody up? Happy New Year. Welcome everybody, and even you, Brad, over in Spain, whenever you hear this. Let's do the welcome candle. We've got it lit, so follow along. Follow the bouncing ball. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. It doesn't matter. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, even if you have broken your vows 1,000 times. Come yet again.
Thank you, Wes. Now's the time I'd like to invite all of you to stand and sing a song with us. We're going to do let's call it a winter classic, since we're a little past Christmas. But the words are a little bit different than you might be used to, so they're going to be up on the screen for you guys to sing along with us. All right, here we go. Justin's gonna start.
God rest ye merry gentle ones, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born upon this day to save us all from Satan's power and he would gone astray. Oh,
Tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy.
oh,
Tidings of comfort and joy.
from God our Heavenly Father, this blessed angel came, and unto certain shepherds brought tidings of the same, how that in Bethlehem was born the Son of God the Lamb. Oh,
Tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy.
oh,
Tidings of comfort and joy. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading still, proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Born a king on Bethlehem's plain, gold I bring to crown him again, King forever, ceasing never over us all to reign. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Glorious now, behold him arise, King and God in sacrifice. Hallelujah, hallelujah, worship him, God most high. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. All right, now we're gonna go around, so you can choose to follow us or them.
God rest ye merry gentle ones.
God rest ye merry gentle ones, let nothing you dismay. God rest ye merry gentle ones, let nothing you dismay. God rest ye merry gentle ones, let nothing you dismay. God rest ye merry gentle ones. Beautiful. Now you're all invited to walk around the room, mingle, offer another a sign of peace, talk to people you haven't seen since last year.
I think I have everybody's attention. I'm Tom McDermott for our visitors and facilitator of this community. And Happy New Year to you all. Happy New Year to you all. Yeah. Happy New Year to you people online as well. Glad to have you watching us this morning. Online, you can register if you're there. Let us know you were with us. Here in the room, you can do that. Either scan the code or fill out the card or whatever and let us know that you were here. Also, opportunity to do an offering if you support the ministries here and at First United Methodist Church. You do that. Also, today is the day before Epiphany. So I will say to you, Happy Epiphany. Which you have no idea what that means. Well, actually, most of you do. Some of you don't, like a Happy Epiphany. That's what we would do every year, my sons and I and my wife and a couple of our friends and their sons. Since they were 5 years old, now they're 34. And to this day, we still travel around the city on Epiphany or thereabouts with gigantic 15-foot Tibetan horns. And with them sticking out the window, we ride up and down the neighborhood and downtown screaming Happy Epiphany. And people have no idea. But we've yet to be around. We did get run out of a Target store once. I'm pretty sure it was the Tibetan horns. That's what got us run out. But at any rate, it's Epiphany, and we'll talk a little bit about that this morning as well. But I'm glad that you're here this morning. Also, it is the traditional annual regifting Sunday as well. When I will give out some things. Yeah, I know you're all excited about that. But here's the thing, the regifting thing, of course, the idea behind that, and this is the question that was asked earlier, like what is Epiphany and what is it that keeps you from experiencing it? What do you think that might be? Or maybe you're one of the few fortunate ones who experiences Epiphany all the time. But the idea of regifting is really not giving away things that maybe we used to like them or we loved them at one time or we don't need them anymore and somebody else can benefit. It's really about giving away the thing you really love and you don't want to give away. And that's what you give away. And that's what opens us up to Epiphany. The old saying, Rumi said, the Middle Eastern 13th century, 12th century mystic who said, why do we keep looking for love? Stop looking for love. Instead, look for the barriers that we keep putting up against it, because it's already there. Epiphany, love, it's already here. The problem is all the barriers we have to resisting it, the stories, the stuff, that. So this is what we get to do. We get to sort of model what it means to give away the stuff we love. And so I'll do a little bit of that today, and I have to guarantee that it's not something that everybody would want. It's something that there's only one or two of you crazy enough to want what I'm about to give away. So anyway, so glad you're here for this morning, and glad you're here for our first Sunday back at the garden. Band did a great job. Give them one big hand. They're operating without Brad, who, by the way, texted me this morning. I have no idea. It's probably middle of the afternoon or late afternoon there. He texted me this morning at 5 in the morning and said, Happy Epiphany, I'm on a camel. All right. Oh, I'm going to ask right now if the Bowmans would go pass the offering, and as we get ready for our Kairos moment.
Welcome to sing along with us also. In the midst of the morning, we open to all of the gifts of the day. We open our hearts to take it all in and give it all back in our way. Let us sing of the beauty around us. Let us sing of the beauty within. Oh, hear the earth tell that all shall be well. Anam Cara, soul friend. We're part of it all in our sorrow. We're part of it all in our bliss. We're part of the sun and part of the rain. We're all part of God's holy kiss. Let us sing of the beauty around us. Let us sing of the beauty within. Oh, hear the earth tell that all shall be well. Anam Cara, soul friend. Every sunrise, every twilight, we're part of a grand design. Through seasons of dark and moments of light, in unity our spirits align. Let us sing of the beauty around us. Let us sing of the beauty within. Oh, hear the earth tell that all shall be well. Anam Cara, soul friend. Oh, hear the earth tell that all shall be well. Anam Cara, soul friend.
Hello, humans. It's wonderful to see you all. Happy New Year. How are we doing today? Great. I'm amazed so many of you braved the wind. I almost got blown off the highway this morning, so I'm so glad you're here safely. My name is Kagan Parker. I'm here on staff at 1111, and I have the pleasure of ushering us into Kairos. It's our time of meditation, and I think a fabulous way to start the new year. Just kind of settle in and see where we are today. I do have a brief poem I want to share before we do move into meditation by Robert Longley. Above there is reflection, colorful and bright, dancing in the sunlight, shimmering at night. Just below the surface, another world awaits, holding onto mysteries until some future date. Our view will let us marvel that these two coexist and think on our existence and those we might have missed. The world is full of beauty and also some surprise. Perhaps it is the future reflecting in our eyes. I invite you to get comfortable wherever you are, however you are, sinking deeper into your seat, feeling the floor beneath your feet. And I invite you to breathe. A deep inhale and a long exhale. Again, a deep inhale and a long exhale. As you continue to breathe, I invite you to think of the newness in the air around us. The newness of this time of year. The transformation, the evolution, the change, and epiphany. What does epiphany, newness, feel like for you? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? Is it frightening? Perhaps exciting? Is it different and strange? Whatever it feels like, I invite you to invite it. To make space for all that is to come this year. The journey to this new year has been long. But in this place now, we celebrate and make peace for all that is and all that will be. A big inhale and a long exhale. Again, a big inhale and a long exhale. I invite you to open your eyes, wiggle your toes, relax your shoulders a little, and welcome back into this space. Thank you for joining me for Kairos.
Happy New Year, everyone. Today we can ponder a couple of interesting passages. The first is from the Gospel of Thomas. These are the hidden sayings that the living Jesus spoke and that Didymus Judas Thomas wrote down. Whoever finds the interpretation of these sayings will not taste death. Jesus said, "Let those who seek not cease seeking until they find. When they find, they will become troubled. When they become troubled, they will be astonished, and they will reign over the all." And the second is from the Gospel of John. In the beginning, there was the Word. The Word was in God's presence, and the Word was God. The Word was present to God from the beginning. Through the Word, all things came into being, and apart from the Word, nothing came into being that has come into being. In the Word was life, and that life was humanity's light, a light that shines in the darkness, a light that the darkness has never overtaken. Then came one named John, sent as an envoy from God, who came as a witness to testify about the light, so that through his testimony everyone might believe. He himself wasn't the light. He only came to testify about the light, the true light that illumines all humankind.
It belongs to me. I've had it for a long time. There's nothing like it in this world. It's mine. I know you want it, and I really can't blame you. You'd like to touch it, but if you do, I'll maim you. So if you value your life, you value your face, you accept this at face value. It's mine, I won't share it, it's mine. I feel the envy in your eyes each time that you see it. But you know that it's rightfully mine, you better believe it. And when I'm gone and you're alone, don't even try it. 'Cause I'll know, yes I'll know, you will never deny it. So if you value your life, you value your face, you'll accept this at face value. It's mine, I won't share it, it's mine. I saw it first. It's mine. I had it last. It's mine. Oh, can't you see? It's made for me. It's mine. It's mine. It's It is a treasure, uniquely one of a kind. Any king would be proud to possess. It's mine. It's my pleasure, my comfort, my joy. It is the love of my life. On an island, alone by myself, in a sea of desire. So if you value your life, you value your face, you accept this at face value. It's mine, I won't share it. It's mine, mine.
So we didn't have the words up, but I hope you have a chance to go back and check out that great song. It's by Trout Fishing in America. Some of you know that band? Yeah. Mine. It's the perfect song for every 3-year-old. Every 2 and 3-year-old. We used to have, when our sons were 7 and or 9 and 2, Matthew, the 2-year-old, was once found scooting into his brother's room when his brother was out, right? And he was checking out the stuff in his brother's room. And then, of course, we saw him down at the end of the hall, and we said, Matthew, and he kind of came back, turned around, and he peeked out around the doorway, and then he crawled out, and then he turned around backwards and backed back into the room. As if that meant he never really entered. So it took a little while to get him out of there after that. But I love that song. It's mine. You can't touch it. It's mine. So this idea of what we find ourselves dealing with at the time of Epiphany, how we see the light, how we experience the light of God or revelation of God. Let me ask real quick to the staff in the back. I see we're having technical difficulties. Are we going to have any slides this morning? I don't see it. I can't see through the glass. That's a thumbs up. Okay, let's throw this first one up there then. If you could have anything in the world right now, says Calvin, what would it be? Hobbes looks around and says, anything at all, Calvin says, whatever you want. Well, a sandwich. A sandwich, Calvin says. A sandwich. What kind of stupid wish is that? Talk about a failure of imagination. I'd ask for $1 trillion billion, my own space shuttle, and a private continent. Then later in another scene, I got my wish. There's a little bit of a Zen simplicity to that cartoon, right? You know, we live in a world of consumption, of consumerism, of images, of stories that we're being told all the time of how life should be, what life should be, how we measure up to those stories, the stories we tell ourselves in relation to those stories. As I was thinking about this, I began to think about the fact that Niels Bohr, who was a physicist, some of you remember the quantum physicist Niels Bohr, and one of the things that he had said, at our most minuscule, minute, tiniest particle of ourselves, we are not even particles at that level, we are energy. We are energy in connection. We are sort of energetic energy in relationship at the tiniest level of our existence. And that is true for all of existence. If we just break it down and break it down and break it down to its smallest sense of what we are and what life is, it's energy. And it's in relationship. And yet, what we are, in fact, is we're basically like neurophysiological, sociological, neurospiritual stories, when you think about it. We grow up physiologically in certain settings, right? We have a biological being of sorts, and yet it's in context. It's always in context. No matter what race, no matter what background, no matter what wealth, no matter what poverty, no matter what social setting, religious setting, it's in context. Our physiology, our biology is in context of a story. And then that story is what we adapt as our story, or we fight, or we struggle with. And so when we talk about how difficult it is sometimes to see the light, it's probably because the light, which is the thing that connects us all most deeply, this thread that all religions speak of, this wholeness hidden in the heart of everything that all spiritualities speak of, that mythologies from around the world speak of, that it seems to be the most difficult thing for us to connect with. And perhaps part of it is this idea, like what Rumi was saying, we just can't seem to get the stuff out of the way, right? I wrote in my blog post, I was thinking about all the things, think about something you gave away and then you regret giving away, right? You regretted giving it away. Or then months later, you're looking for it and you wonder, whatever happened to that? Or a couple of years later, you're trying to remember, did I end up giving that thing away? Or something somebody really gave you and you just can't let go of it because it's supposedly special at the time, but it hasn't been special to you anymore, and so now you struggle with that meaning. And we have trouble giving things away. And then I put in there, of course, money. Money is the hardest thing we have given away, right? I mean, what is that story all about? That's such a difficult thing. So we find ourselves captive to these stories. And yet there's this other story that's happening in the midst of its day and age and its trauma and its context of oppressiveness, which was the story of Jesus, the birth of Jesus. I was telling Linda today, tomorrow's when the wise men find the baby Jesus. And she says, no, Tom, he was at least 2 years old. And I said, well, then he probably wasn't even in one space. They probably had to go chase him down. Find him, settle him down to worship and adore him. I mean, a baby you can worship and adore. A 2-year-old, there's no adoring at all. So it's a whole mixed, I'm just trying to put my head around this thing. But there's also in the context the whole story of the innocents, the killing of the innocents. And yet John's gospel, which is 110 years after Jesus or 100 years after Jesus, John's gospel says nothing of such a story, right? it has a whole different orientation to who this Jesus was. The Gospel of Thomas, which comes a little bit later, somewhere in there, it could have been before John, could have been after John, the sayings of Jesus, part of this mystical kind of community that arose after Jesus. Those sayings say nothing of the violence, of the counter social movement that was counter to the oppressive Roman Empire, right? So what is this story about Jesus even? It's such a mixed reality with lots of components. But I love this text because it speaks to two things. The first one being that it seems to be at the heart of things. Whoever and whatever Jesus was seems to be at the heart of things. That's the first thing. It also seems to be about connective love, connective tissue, connective thread, and how we live compassionately in relationship with one another. It seems to be present in that idea. And then there's this thing about John being a witness to it. And it occurred to me, John was witness to it, and yet, as according to the story of the first Gospel of John, Jesus wasn't there yet. John was witnessing to the light before the light showed up. If you follow the story logically. It's an interesting idea. So for me, the challenge is, how do we pay attention? And so I have some gifts to help, maybe illuminate. And the first one that I want to offer is just a simple one. This was one of those gifts that I asked for, and then she said, "You better give it away." And it's delightful because it fits so much, and I just imagine we'll have many of these that will be handed out over the coming years because of our new setting. So our wonderful friend and member here, Deborah Lawson, who's also in the ukulele group, she makes wonderful things. I mean, she just makes lovely, wonderful things, rocks that you'll find lying around that have beautiful sayings and beautiful artwork. And then she made this tool apron, right? This gardening tool apron, and it says 11:11 in the garden. It says open, inclusive, and then it says inquisitive. Stay curious, grow. Beautiful little flowers on it. I thought, how lovely. I mean, everybody ought to have one of these. And I thought, well, okay, I need to hand this out to somebody. Somebody wants this. So who wants this? But it comes with baggage. Because not only does this mean you're going to continue to plant and work in your garden, you're going to also continue to find ways to reimagine what it means to be here in the midst of this garden, right? So who wants to do that? Really? All right. She raised her hand. That's amazing. Give her a hand. She has no idea what she just signed up for. That's wonderful. And then I have a feeling that Deborah, would you raise your hand? Okay, now you know who to go to get your own. Okay. All right, so one other thing here really quickly before we move on to some more thoughts about all of this. And this was something that I did, I don't know, a couple of years ago. Some of you will remember this moment when I brought this thing out. It came apart. I brought this thing out, and there we go. Should have had this built before I got here. There we go. Is it all together? Yes? Okay. Some of you will remember this lovely little toy, which is called the Arctic Penguin Race. And as I brought it out, at the time I had a camera. At the time, I had a camera that I could zoom in on, and so we had it on the screen, and I had these little individuals, these little individual penguins that were sitting here and doing their little race around the track, while this other one, where did he go? This other one was sitting by himself off to the side, looking at these other two, which you'll see why in just a second. There we go. Is this not amazing? Okay, we need to give him a little push. There we go. Yep. Unfortunately, I clearly have rebuilt this thing wrong, so it's not working exactly right. There we go. Now, here we go. There we go. There we go. Nice. Okay. It's not going down because I've got the angle wrong. But at any rate, you get the idea. It needs to be adjusted. But the important thing here is the delight and pleasure it gives you for hours. But not because of the race, which is entirely stupid, because there is no race unless you begin to think about it like our little friend the black penguin began to do, which is he began to watch this two-party system as it was making its way around the race. He began to wonder what else is missing here, right? You might say he had a little bit of an epiphany. And as a result of that, he realized that the blue was not actually winning the race. The blue was trying to catch up with the red one. Oh. And then he realized that life is full of mishaps. Now, here's the thing I want the person who takes this to do is what I do. I stare at it sometimes for 30 minutes at end, trying to figure out what it's trying to teach me. And it's astounding what you start to learn, because you truly begin to recognize everything is a lens through which to experience epiphany. And if you don't see that, then you've stopped looking for the child. You've literally stopped looking for the light, because that's what you have an opportunity to do with every single thing you meet. Now, there's some other things that are interesting about this. First of all, it also says in the next slide, you'll see it advertised it as the small penguin of a group of likability. What does that mean? I worked on that for 30 minutes. I have no idea what that means. The small penguin of a group of likability. And then if you go to the website and you look to buy one, it says for ages 3 to 18. All right, who wants this? Oh, wait, it comes with music. Okay, somebody wants this. Do you really want this? Okay, all right. She gets a hand. Yes. Now, what I will need is a 4-page essay on your insights on what this could possibly mean for you. Here's what the Magi did, right? The Magi, when they go off and they find Jesus, they're warned in a dream, to head out a different way because power, empire is looking forward to sort of destroying it, to whatever it is, to find it, to take it captive, to reframe it into something in relationship to power, which is what we do sometimes when we're looking at something absolutely so ridiculous and we can't wrap our heads around what else might be there, right? We can't possibly wrap our heads around it because we've dismissed it. We've lost the innocence. So we need the innocence of the child, but we also need the willingness of the adult to go, I think I've been living by a story for so many years. Maybe I need to rethink my story in relationship to the light, in relationship to love, in relationship to this divine presence that we call God moments or epiphany, or however you want to frame them. So this is what the next quote up here. I love this quote. This has been a quote in my life for most of my life since early seminary days, from T.S. Eliot, from Little Giddings and the 4 Quartets. We shall not cease from exploration, and in the end, of all of our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. Through the unknown, remembered gate, when the last of earth left to discover is that which was the beginning. At the source of the longest river, the voice of the hidden waterfall, and the children in the apple tree, not known because not looked for, but heard, half heard, in the stillness between the 2 waves of the sea. And I realize it's really powerful metaphorical language, but it invites us to a place where, like Thomas Merton, who was once sitting out on the edge of the shore one day, had started to realize in between the waves, as he watched the waves coming up, he began to see that it was in the space between the waves where we are all invited to participate. But we tend to get caught up in one wave or another. rather than being a part of the whole thing, even beneath the surface of the waves. The challenge, of course, is to be looking for it. So, without looking for it, you won't find it, right? Who wants a pot lid? Y'all aren't listening. Nobody's listening. Who wants the pot lid? You want the pot lid? Okay, wait a minute. Now here's what happens. Y'all have seen me out here with this $150 crystal singing bowl when I vibrate it? This is an aluminum pot lid that I found at a Goodwill store in Santa Fe or Albuquerque. I can't remember where. I was doing a school program. And I would walk through these kinds of resale stores or Goodwill stores and such, and I would walk through with either a stick or a mallet or something, and I would bang on things. And inevitably, people would look at me like, that's not really what that's for. And I'd say, I'd get the pot, and they'd say, I'd get the pot lid, and they'd say, you don't want the pot that goes with it? And I said, it really doesn't work. They said, no, it does fine. And I said, well, no, it doesn't. And then I took my mallet and I did this. You can close your mouth. I mean, it's nobody would find that out. How many of you are willing to walk through a Goodwill store or a resale shop and bang on things? You. So I started using this with kids, and I started showing kids that life has got a lot more to it if you're willing to experiment beyond what seems familiar and beyond what seems okay. Because sometimes we don't just make trouble in the conventional way. Sometimes we make trouble with our eyes, how we choose to see something differently. And that's the invitation that Epiphany is. Epiphany is inviting us to see things differently. The problem is we get caught up in our stories in such ways that we don't see anything except the negativity. Even in this time that we're in, we see the stress, the anxiety, the negativity, the future that looks pretty bleak from some of our perspectives. And maybe some of that is definitely true. There will be many challenges. We're going to have to show up in a lot of different ways. But I think the first way we show up is by telling a different story, by seeing something nobody else is seeing. And that requires that kind of crazy, troublesome, ridiculous kind of way of seeing. Now, show this next slide up here. Do I dare disturb the universe? In a minute, there's time, and I can't read the rest of it. Time for decisions and revisions, which a minute will reverse. Yeah, T.S. Eliot, right? Amazing. Disturb the universe. How can you disturb the universe? I think it begins, for a lot of us, by being willing to disturb ourselves. I don't know where your edge is right now. I don't know where the difficulty is for you right now in terms of what you're resisting. Change is always a challenge, but God has changed. The reality of where we are now is the greatest invitation to see what it means to be a part of the richest and deepest connective thread of life. And that means being involved in changing ourselves as well as being a part of the change around us. So I don't know where that difficulty is for you, but what I invite you to do is to disturb your universe a little bit, to find a different edge. I have one last thing that I want to give away, and this one, two things. The first one is a book by Nikos Kazantzakis, and it's got a page marked in it. In the book by Nikos, I read Nikos Kazantzakis back in the seminary 40 some odd years ago in seminary at Bright. I read all of his books. The best known perhaps is The Last Temptation of Christ. He was famous for that one. but he also wrote Zorba the Greek, and he wrote a number of other books that were pretty interesting. A guy that comes from a fairly patriarchal, machismo kind of perspective from Crete himself, from the island of Crete. And yet, his writing is always perceptive. He's always paying attention to people that he meets. And in this one, he's traveling around England. This was from the early 1900s, and he's meeting a lot of interesting people. But in one particular encounter, it changed how I saw everything. Anybody want this book? What? Lydia? Lydia wants this book. She'll be attending seminary in 2 years after this book. She'll add seminary to her PhD and her other stuff. And okay. So the last thing is, Peter brought this, and honestly, it is a gift of love from Peter, but also a gift of love from me, because I took it back in the back and I started playing it, and then I thought, I want it. And I decided, all right, I got to give it to somebody else. It's really a beautiful Cordoba ukulele. Isn't it nice? I'm serious. I just pulled it out and learned how to do that. It just came. It's a magical. So this magical ukulele, it's actually a very beautiful ukulele. Somebody wants this ukulele, and then somebody wants to be a part of our ukulele group. But you can start just with the ukulele. It's not a requirement. You don't have to jump in. All right. All right. We'll pass that along. All right. She's like, I'll play ukulele. Okay. All right. Our average age just went down another 15 years. 20 years. Okay. All right. Yep. I'm okay being put in my place. All right, so I need to finish up. So here's the last thing I want to say about all of this. And this is the idea that you have, this idea that comes from Thoreau, Henry David Thoreau, this idea of disturbing the universe. We do this practice in here, this Kairos practice, because it allows us sometimes to be in that space where we can just practice letting go of moments. Not letting moments be without having to own them one way or the other. And it's a simple little practice like anything else that we do. It's a way to sort of get into a discipline of running into people or situations or moments with this anxiety and then this belief system that has to be behind it, whether it's a religious belief or a political belief or my own personal narrative belief that we then pack into that moment, that we attack that moment with. But this Kairos allows us to be in a space, it invites us to always be in a space that's more present than definitive. And in that presence, we see something that changes our life and is less about what we project and more about what we receive. And in receiving that kind of story, we have given that moment a greater sacredness. Do you see that? That's what we get to do. All right, band, I don't know why y'all aren't up here. You should have been reading my mind, but come on up. So that's what we get to do. No more gifts out for today. But thank you all for doing that. I really, one of the fun things that I get to see in a year or so, over the time, is how this gift has done something and what it becomes, and maybe what gets passed on to somebody else, right? But I really do invite you to participate in the thing in a way that invites you to see it differently and then to tell that story. Literally, that's what John the Baptist was doing. He was not simply telling a story about a belief system. He was witnessing to light that he was experiencing. How do you and I do that in 2025?
to you, my friend. But some things are always heaven sent. The more you want, the harder it gets. The more you let go, the more you get. It's a crazy, beautiful life. It's a crazy, beautiful life. Some things make sense and you don't know why. It's a crazy, beautiful life. Nothing lasts forever, someone told me so. Life is always changing, ain't what you think you know. Even if you're standing still, you're floating in space. So grab a hold of your heart and you'll find your place in this crazy, beautiful life. It's a crazy, beautiful life. Some things make sense and you don't know why. It's a crazy, beautiful life. Wherever you are, whatever you do, whatever wishes might come true. Whatever you got, whatever you give, you make it a beautiful life to live. It's a crazy, beautiful life. It's a crazy, beautiful life. Some things make sense and you don't know why. It's a crazy, beautiful life.
Benediction. Hope you have a great Epiphany tomorrow. Hope you have a great season of Epiphany. I look forward to seeing you back here next week. Next week we have our Sunday. We've kind of started a tradition, our Co-Conspiracy Sunday. So I know we have a few folks who are actually joining the community, which we don't really push a lot about this idea of joining. But when people come up and go like, I really want to join, then I go, all right. No, we love being in community, right? We love being in community and a part of community, and it's so good to see you all here and being a part of this community. By the way, this community makes a huge difference, not just to the larger reality around us, especially to First United Methodist Church, but it also makes a huge difference to church in general, because we are essentially reminding church, reminding institution, reminding narratives that the story is always larger, right? So, go out, tell the story. Amen.